Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Monday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. It is the 1st of September. It is a new month, new goals, new you, new objectives to see, guys. We have a lot to cover, and the politicians are back. Parliament is back. Congress is back in America. It's all returning to morality. Kids going finally getting back to school. Normality is returning. After a summer of intense heat waves, we're now getting back to our usual weathers as always. I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you guys enjoyed the summer as we head towards the autumn. We're still technically into it, technicality, but it is September now. And we got plenty to cover, so we're going to be looking at today's daily quota for the first month of September. We're going to be looking at, instead of looking at the daily weather app, which I normally do, luckily we're just going to go straight to the BBC weather app. And we're going to do something a little bit different. So normally on Mondays, I do all UK news. Instead, I'm actually going to switch it up. So Mondays and Fridays, I'm just going to cover news from UK, world, and America. Tomorrow, I'm going to do specifically UK. And Wednesday, I'm going to do specifically I'm going to do world news, and Thursday I'm going to do America news, and then Friday I'm going to do all of them at once. I think that will work out a little bit better for me, and probably be a bit more interesting to say the least there. But let's start with today's daily quota here. It's actually quite a long one here from Les Brown here. And by the way, like I've shown these before, but just for reminders, if people are interested in having one for your own, if you want one for yourself, there's a website you can go to called littlepennythoughts.com? Yeah, littlepennythoughts.com is where I got this one, and I've had this for quite a long time. But you can see the quote there. It's a very long one for today's one, guys. But here it is. I'm going to read it out for you because it is a long one. But I'm only going to read it once. I'm not going to read it twice. Yeah, okay. So the world is waiting for you to wake up, to be the person that you are called to be. Stop listening to the negative inner conversation that's causing you to play small. Focus your mind on positive thoughts, possibilities and solutions that can move you forward. Tap into your creativity and determination. And that is from Les Brown there for the first quota of September there. That is a lot. It actually resonates with me right now, believe it or not, guys, because for those who don't know, wrestling tickets have gone on sale literally an hour ago for Manchester and Cardiff, and I really want to go to Manchester, but I don't want crap seats, and I want to be close to the action, but at the same time I'm like beating myself up saying if I don't go I won't know what it's like. So yeah, I haven't bought the tickets yet. They have to bear in mind I haven't bought train and a hotel accommodation as well. So I still may buy tickets for the event in Manchester. It's in December, just for reference. It's a Wednesday, the 17th of December, I believe it is. They do have a show in Cardiff. I've already decided I'm not going to go to the Cardiff one. But there's tickets as cheap as 30 quid. But I would be right up in the gantry if I wanted to do it. But I'm still kind of like I'm torn in my mind because a part of me is like they're like £300 to £500 if you wanted like VIP front row tickets and all that kind of stuff, and then there's tickets as cheap as 30 quid. That's like it's just bothering me. But you have to bear in mind, guys, I spent a lot of money on traveling to Glasgow, going to the Glasgow show, traveling back from that, and then me and my partner, we went to so many wrestling shows during that week. It was a very long week, and I hadn't planned to do anything like that in December. So yeah, it's me kind of torn right now on it. Stephen Banker, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Oh dear, not the it's not Oh dear. So yeah, I'm kind of all over the place this morning. Again, all over the place this morning. Apologies. Going on a sneezing frenzy again. Just bleh. So yeah, I may after this live stream, I may still end up buying tickets to Manchester and going to Manchester because I haven't been. Lee Corn was like, at first I said no, and then he was disappointed, and then I said, oh, I might change my mind. So I'm kind of like torn. And here's the thing, like I've never been to Manchester, so it makes sense for me to go. and I also get to go to a wrestling show at the same time. So why would you not take on this opportunity? So that there's like this tormenting in my mind at the moment. But anyhow, I see Dave McGuinness has ended his live stream on the other side. Hope you guys had a good live stream. I was listening to it with pretty much except for the last 5 minutes. John, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Alison Keir, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Scott Hayes as well. Anybody else who may be lurking in the chats. Right, let's get on with the show. We'll start with the weather report, and then we'll go straight into some of the news from both in the UK and the rest of the world. So this is today's weather at later on today at 7 o'clock. Here we can see temperatures are not too bad. 18, 16 degrees in most parts there, but showers scattered in a couple of places here and there. You can see, so not too bad, yeah, temperature-wise. I'm just glad the heat waves are over, me personally. Is there going to be expected some, what's the winds going to be like? Yeah, 14, 10, some parts, and maybe a bit more windier than others there from the looks of it, but not too bad there, I would say. Is it worth diving in a bit further? Yeah, 14, 15 degrees in some parts of Scotland there, not too bad. 17 in Inverness there, so yeah, it'll be fine weather to be fair here. North of England, Midlands, 16, 15, 17 degrees temperatures there. Wind's not too bad either. Like I said, bits of bobs of showers of here and there, but yeah, it's nice. It's nice. The temperatures have dipped quite a lot now, so I'm very happy about that. And we can see, yeah, temperatures again not too bad as well. Let's have a quick look at Tuesday. Let's see what Tuesday is saying. Roughly around about same temperatures, but again, lots of scattered showers here. Big pool of weather of rain coming in. Yeah, you can see I'm going to be experiencing that tomorrow, as well as there is some forecast of some bits of rain around London, to be fair, as well. But again, temperatures not too bad. A bit of, you may get some wind, and of course, again, scattered rains around here and there. You can see temperatures again not too bad. 16, 18 in Glasgow and Edinburgh respectfully. Alban 15, Stonehaven 16, Aberdeen 17, Inverness 18 there. But again, not too bad weather there. Let's go to Wednesday. Oi! What is this? You'll have to zoom out a second. Whoa! Can't even see Scotland. Look, it's been completely covered. Wednesday afternoon, you're gone. You're off the map. That's how, yeah. So Wednesday is a bloody storm in Scotland. You can see by the massive storm that you're going to be experiencing up there. So yeah, but do be careful on Wednesday, guys. Really do be careful. Going to get drenched, that is for sure. Little bits of scattered showers around parts of England and Wales are going to feel it as well. There's a big pool here. Is that gonna come over? Yeah, that looks like it's going to come over there as well into Thursday. Yeah, so lots of rain going to be forecast as well, but temperatures not too bad there as well. So yeah, Scotland will cease to exist on Wednesday afternoon. But yeah, that's quite a lot of rain that's going to be there. So yeah, I'm just happy. I'm happy about the temperatures dropping more than anything, guys. I think that's the thing. I think we were more pleased than anything as well. Right, let's have a look at some of the news, guys. I did have a browse around some of the news. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna do a couple of UK, we're gonna do a couple of America, and we're gonna do a couple of world news for Mondays and Fridays going forward. And tomorrow I'm going to cover all the UK news. I think that will be a much more interesting way of doing it going forward. So we'll have a look at the Guardian from here on UK politics. So Reeve says Thames Water should find market-based solution. Chancellor aims to reassure creditors, but says ministers are playing for all options, including special administration. Thames Water is a joke. I think we all know that at this point. Like, they're just trying to beat around the bush. Like, the reality is we are going to be paying out of pocket for the debt. We taxpayers are going to be paying back that debt one way or another. It's just something that we can't escape. Good morning, NCR. NCR there. I hope you are doing well, and anybody else lurking in the chats. Yeah, I just can't see. I can't see us taxpayers avoiding paying for this as much as I hate to admit it. Just think it's going to be so infuriating, and really anyone who should be picking up the tab is not the British. It's not the British taxpayer. It should be the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party should pick up the tab for this more than anything. Yeah, so Chancellor sent a letter in July to Thames Water's creditor group, which represent about 100 financial institutions that are trying to create a rescue plan for the company. Reid sent the letter after comments from the Environment Secretary Steve Reid in June. He told MPs the government had stepped up our preparations and stand ready for all eventualities, including a special administration regime, if they're all becoming necessary. The remarks were reported to have caused concerns among some debt holders in the water industry, as such steps would involve a temporary form of nationalisation leading to the reconstruction of its $17.7 billion net debt and the possible sale of the company to new owners. In a letter seen by the Times, Reid wrote, the government recognises the seriousness of the situation facing Thames Water. Our position remains about that the company should find a sustainable market-based solution to the current situation. This solution must not only secure the company's long-term financial stability, also delivers a successful turnaround that achieves positive outcome for customers and the environment. Positive outcome for customers and the environment while the water bills are still continuously to rise up. Not sure about that. Government's preparing for all eventualities across its regulated industries and has undertaken detailed contingency plans for special administration regime. That's a special special nationalisation, but not full nationalisation. Senate Thames Water has been under effective control of its Senate creditors, and which holds off much of its debt pile since shareholders walked away from the company last year. The water company, which serves 16 million customers, including me, across London and the South East, has been on the verge of financial collapse for several years after decades of underinvestment and dividends extraction. Yeah, so they've been milking us for all our money. Very frustrating indeed. Keir Starmer shakes up number 10 operation with a mini reshuffle, apparently. Darren Jones is appointed to new senior role in change day-to-day delivery of MP's priorities, apparently an exclusive from The Guardian. Darren Jones, Chief Secretary to the Treasury, has been moved to a new senior role in Downing Street as Keir Starmer attempts to get a grip on delivering what is likely to be a term most autumn for the government. The Guardian understands senior MP, whose new title will be Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister, has been put in charge of day-to-day deliveries of the Prime Minister's priorities after number 10 spent the summer struggling to get on the front foot on issues including the economy and migration and lags behind Reform UK in the polls. He will be replaced as Rachel Reeves' deputy by James Murray, has been prompted by the Exchequer Secretary, a more junior ministerial role at the Treasury. In turn, his role will be taken by Tom Donaldson, the government's new growth mission champion, as Starmer seeks to reward the 2024 intake. However, there was not expected to be a wider reshuffle of the junior ministerial ranks at this point, despite some reports of senior sources have said. Although Starmer would need to appoint a new homelessness minister after Ali stepped down this summer, the cabinet is to stay intact. So no, it's not really much of a shuffle then. Downing Street is also expected to confirm that the former Bank of England Deputy Governor Sharif will become Starmer's new Chief Economic Advisor as the government seeks to strengthen its efforts to bolster UK's growth and productivity. The communications operation will be shaken up with Tim Allen, an advisor to Tony Blair, number 10, who went on to fund the PR from firm Portland, coming as the executive director of the government's communications. The political role is separated from that of David Dismore, who has been tasked with improving the civil service communication operations. James Leon's Downing Street Director of Communications for Strategy is stepping down. Steph Dyser, his counterpart for day-to-day number 10 communications, who is close to Starmer, stayed in post answering to Allen. The Downing Street Policy Unit is undergoing change after some internal conflict over who is running the department. Liz Lloyd, who was Tony Blair's Deputy Chief of Staff at number 10, is leaving, but is expected to move into a new role in government. Stuart Ingram, another policy chief and Starmer's most long-standing aide, will leave the unit to work with Chief of Staff Morgan McSweeney, the biggest problem of Labour more than anything, taking on a more political role, which sources said would ensure the Prime Minister's priorities were taken into account in every decision. New political policy is expected to be appointed shortly, but in the meantime, Favika Askan, one of McSweeney's deputies, will oversee day-to-day policy working. Sources suggest that Louise Katie, a senior government fixer, would not be coming to number 10 despite reports. The extent of the shake-up reflects the sense that Starmer has increasingly struggled to impose his own narrative and is instead mainly being shaken by external crises, notably the focus on the summer of migration and reforms plans to respond to it. Well, listen, here's the thing, right? It doesn't matter. I've already said this so many times. It doesn't matter what Labour does. It doesn't matter what Labour says. People are not going to switch from Reform to Labour. They're just not going to do that. They're already embedded in their mindsets that it's all doom and gloom. The country is going to fall apart. Like it's the end of the world, which it really isn't. But that's what they're going to be settled in that mindset one way or another, unfortunately. Ministers urged to put the brakes on offices in England being turned into homes. Yeah. So apparently these are not going to be affordable homes. Yeah, housing providers and charities that want development rights abolished admit concerns over the lack of affordable homes. Yeah, so it's like all well and good. They're building loads and loads of homes, but the problem is they're not affordable. So yeah, which analysts have led to the loss of almost 28,000 affordable homes in England. Local government campaigners, housing providers and homelessness charities have all called on to abolish some permitted development rights, PDRs, which grant automatic planning permission to building projects and are often used to convert office blocks into housing. A major point of contention is that the PDR developments are not required to make affordable housing contributions. So new analysis by the local government association has found that nearly 28,000 affordable homes have been lost due to office to residential conversions under PDR in the past 11 years. So an amendment to the Planning and Infrastructure Bill, the government's flagship planning changes designed to keep up house building that would remove many PDR allowances have been debated in Parliament today. Doffrey Thornhill, a vice president of the LGA who brought in the amendment, said the impact of certain PDR rules has gone much further than it ever was anticipated when it was first brought in. It is time that they were scrapped. Councils and communities are losing out significantly because developers are able to circumvent the democratic planning process. A letter signed by 39 campaigners, experts and groups, including Shelter, the Town and Country Planning Association and National Association of Local Councils and Association of Directors of Public Health, calls on the government to support the amendment. Letter calls the PDR policy indefensible and says the government needs to ensure that the homes built today are not poor quality housing problems of tomorrow. Many would not meet the most basic fire safety and inhabitable standards, and they have been subject to the planning process, the letter states. Communities lose twice on the quantity and sustainability of homes and on the schools and transport, green spaces and health services that make neighbourhoods thrive. The LGA estimate that more than 110,000 new homes have been converted from offices under PDR since 2013, meaning councils were unable to enforce affordable housing contributions, ensuring that the new homes were good quality, climate resistant or sustainably located. Studies have shown that homes created through the PDR are more likely to be substandard, smaller, darker, poorly ventilated and unsuitable locations such as industrial estates and business parks. In Bristol, there's a campaign to stop people from being housed in a former office block that housing charity Shelter says has been plagued with issues such as damp, mould, disrepair, overcrowding, antisocial behaviour and rat infestation. Oy! That's not good. More than 500 people, including local GPs and charities, have signed an open letter calling on Bristol City Council to move people out of Imperial Apartments, a free storage block converted into 466 flats under PDR. Yeah, this is really bad. If the gist of it, like this is what many people were fearing when Labour talked about wanting to build 1.5 million new homes in their first term, right? They never said specifically the kind of homes that they were building, and this is the problem. And the thing is that they are, like, realistically they're not going to meet that 1.5 million target, but I do see them hitting over 1 million homes. But how many of them are actually going to be affordable for ordinary people? That's the main thing. And the problem is that I just don't see that happening. NHS corridor care now year-round crisis in England, experts say. Around 74,100 patients have waited at least 12 months on trolley in June and July, a situation that almost non-existent 10 years ago. Yeah, that's thanks to the Conservatives. Corridor care in the NHS is now a year-round crisis, experts warned. Analysis shows nearly 3 million patients attended A&E over the first 2 months of the summer. The latest NHS figures in England, analysed by the Liberal Democrats, showed that since 2015, the number of people going to A&E in June and July has increased to 15% to 2.9 million, the highest level recorded over the past decade. Wow. Whereas 12-hour trolley waits were almost non-existent a decade ago, with just 47 recorded throughout June and July in 2015. In June 2025, 38,683 patients, 7.2% of all those attending A&E, had to wait 12 hours or more to be admitted. In all 74,150 patients, that's 1,216 a day, waited at least 12 hours during June and July this year. Some hospitals reported even higher proportions of patients facing long waits. More than a quarter of patients at 5 NHS trusts had to wait at least 12 hours to be admitted during June and July. This is just horrible. This included Epsom and St Helier, where nearly half of the trolley waits, 42% in June and 45% in July, took 12 hours or more. Warrington and Hayden, 48% in June and 30% in July. Helen Morgan, Lib Dem Health and Social Care spokesperson, said the figures showed that the NHS was entering a state of perma-crisis. What was once a winter crisis has become a year-round disaster, with the health service buckling under pressure all year round. Every day people are put at risk by long, deadly waits for families that are watching helplessly as loved ones are left in agony on trolleys and A&E corridors. Lib Dems have called for a winter emergency package of measures to protect patients and take pressures off A&E, including increasing vaccine uptake for illness such as flu, expanding access to pharmacies, and a recruitment drive to increase the number of out-of-hours GPs. Without this pressure put on our A&Es, will continue to mount, and patient safety will be put at risk. Morgan said. I do think that perhaps they should making jabs. I mean, I know it's a huge cost, but maybe they should make flu jabs free for this year round. I don't know. Maybe that would actually help. The thing is that the Conservatives have ran down the NHS so much over the past 14 years, and while Labour have made improvements in parts of the NHS, they're still nowhere near the levels that it used to be, and it's not going to go back to. I just don't see it returning to its before 2010 when it was deemed one of the best healthcares on the planet. Now it's really lost its way. Thankfully, health in the NHS has evolved matter. Yes, in Scotland, you guys are a lot better. Person impersonator, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. I spent 22 hours on a trolley last time I was in A&E. 22 hours is just it's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And the thing is, I really want to stress this. I don't blame the hospitals. I don't blame the workers. I really, really don't. But a lot of people tend to. I really do. It's down to how it's a lot of it. It's just down to politics, and austerity. Politics and austerity is what's led the National Healthcare Service in England to be in the situation that it's in. It's heartbreaking because so many people are suffering because of it, and that's why we have so many people on the dole as well. It's a lose-lose situation for people. I was lucky. First 9 hours there was no trolley, just an uncomfortable plastic chair, says person. It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Science research gets more engagement on Blue Sky than X study finds. That doesn't surprise me. Royal Mail returns to profit as takeover brings year of change. House prices in surprise fall amid high mortgage cost, apparently. Family pays tribute to much loved son who died in a playground fall in Cheshire. Oh my God, my deepest condolences, of course. And that's the stories there for the Guardian. We'll come back to UK news in a bit. Let's have a look at some other news. This is the Associated Press over in America. So an earthquake has destroyed villages in eastern Afghanistan. It's killed 800 people. Absolutely horrific. 2,500 people have been injured. Desperate Afghans claw through the rubble at in the dead of the night in search of missing loved ones after a strong earthquake killed some 800 people and injured more than 2,500 in eastern Afghanistan, according to figures provided on Monday by the Taliban government. The 6.0 magnitude earthquake late on Sunday hit towns in the province of Konya near the city of Jalalabad in neighbouring Nangarhar province, causing extensive damage. The quake was at 11:47 p.m. Oh my God, of all times. Benjamin, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well. Was centered 27 kilometers, 17 miles east-northeast of Jalalabad. The US Geological Survey said was just 8 kilometers. That's 5 meters deep. Shallower quakes tend to cause more damage. Several aftershocks follow. Footage shows rescuers taking injured people on stretchers from collapsed buildings and into hospitals as people frantically dug through the rubble with their hands. Taliban government spokesperson said at a press conference on Monday that death toll risen to 800, more than 2,500 injured. He said most of the casualties were in Kanur. Buildings in Afghanistan tend to be low-rise constructions, mostly of concrete and brick, with homes in rural and outlying areas made from mud bricks and wood. Many are poorly built. One resident in Nawal district is one of the worst affected areas in Kanur, said nearly the entire village was destroyed. Children are under the rubble, the elderly under the rubble, young people under the rubble, said the villager who did not give his name. We need help here, please. We need people to come here and join us. Help us pull out people who are buried. There is no one who will come and remove the dead bodies from under the rubble. Eastern Afghanistan is mountainous with remote areas. The quake has worsened communications. Dozens of flights have operated in and out of Nangarhar Airport, transporting the injured to hospital. One survivor described seeing homes collapse before his eyes and people screaming for help. Absolutely terrible. I really, really hope they get the resources they need and people can help them as much as they possibly can. Absolutely Awful, awful situation for them right now. Inside the Swedish spaceport, Europe is betting on to compete in the space race. Israel kills Hamas spokesperson as security cabinet meets to discuss expanding offensive in Gaza. SCO challenges the US, but his reach is murky. Peace cannot come to Ukraine's expense, German leader Mersk has said. You have three there. Modi and Putin meet on the summit sidelines as India faces steep US tariffs over Russian imports. Rudy Giuliani injured in New Hampshire car crash. His spokesperson said, "Yeah, I was heard the car crash was quite severe for Giuliani. Don't wish death upon anyone. Hopefully he recovers. In all seriousness, I really do. Even those people who harm others, you know, I'm not that kind of person that wishes death upon people." 11-year-old boy fatally shot in Houston after ding dong ditch doorbell ringing prank, police says. Oh my god. Fish-shaped soy bottles are forbidden by an Australian state in an oddly specifically plastic ban. Okay, that's a weird one. Taking a dip in Labour Day weekend. Government shutdown looms. I've got that story coming out on Patreon today at 12 o'clock. 1.2 million immigrants are gone from US Labour force under Trump, preliminary data shows. The flotilla with Greta Thunberg leaves to Barcelona in the biggest attempt yet to break Israel's blockade. A flotilla of ships departing from Barcelona to the Gaza Strip on Sunday with humanitarian aid and activists on board in the largest attempt yet to bring the long Israeli blockade of the Palestinian territory by sea. This comes as Israel steps up its offensive on Gaza City, limiting the deliveries of food and basic supplies in the north of Palestinian territory. Food experts warned earlier this month that the city was in famine and that 500,000 people across the Strip were facing catastrophic levels of hunger. The global Samudou flotilla is carrying food, water, and medicine. Activists on board demanding safe passage to deliver much needed aid and the opening of a humanitarian sea corridor. According to the statement, the almost 23-month war has killed more than 63,000 people, with at least 352 Palestinians dying of malnutrition, including 124 children, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Yeah, so instead of going with one boat, they're looking to go with multiple boats. Is their plan this time around? The flotilla. I have heard from I think from one unofficial spokesperson, but basically said they're gonna, this time when they take Greta, they're not gonna let her out, which is pretty scary there. But that is the risk you take, unfortunately. Thousands of redheads from all over the world gather in the Netherlands. Any other stories? Three Scottish boarders set a world record for the fastest Pacific row in 139 days. Big up to my friends in Scotland. James, Erin, and McLean completed the journey in 139 days, arriving in Cairns, Australia. They rode over 9,000 miles non-stop from Peru, becoming the first team to achieve the full crossing from South America to Australia for the first time. Wow, fantastic achievement. Fantastic achievement. To be fair, Regan streams don't cough off as much as some channels. It bugs me when I go to the kitchen, come back, and the stream has gone. I try. Oh, I appreciate that person. I try to keep it. I try not to have too much disruption. To be fair, this computer is quite old. To be fair, well-meaning, but Israel will never let them get there. Well, the thing is, there's multiple boats this time around. It's not just one boat; it's multiple boats. So, are they going to literally shoot the boats out of the sky? Shoot the boats like? Are they going to stop every single boat passing? I don't know how many boats they're sending this time. So it's not just one boat. I think one number I heard was 12. That'll be interesting to see what they do, Israel, because I hope they don't shoot them out, because that's the thing I'm afraid of they'll do the most. But the thing is that they know they can get away with it because they've gotten away with so much already, such as murdering innocent journalists here. So front page of Al Jazeera has this, and if you open it up, it showcases all the journalists and their names that have lost their lives Not just Al Jazeera, but other journalists who have lost their lives in Gaza. And it's heartbreaking, to say the least. At least 800 people have been killed, 2,500 injured in Afghanistan. That's the Afghanistan earthquake there. Fields of rubble, Israel destroying Gaza City, kills 78 across the enclave. That's dropping today on Rumble. I think that one I'm going to be on Rumble. Indonesia group delays protests in Jakarta as police tighten security. So move comes as police set up checkpoints across Jakarta and deploy armored vehicles to Parliament. Yeah, things in Indonesia are getting really, really bad. I want to address something that some of you guys may or may not be aware of for those who are on the Discord server. One of our subscribers here, and I'm not going to say the person's name, but he basically lives in Indonesia and had footage of basically of the police van hitting and running over a pedestrian in one of the protesters. And they uploaded the footage straight to Discord. And I took it down on the Discord. So I just want to clarify why I took it down for those, if anyone, just for clarification. I don't want... oh, it seems my camera has gone. I just realised the camera's just gone. What happened to my camera? Oh dear. Well, that's annoying. Right, well, I'm going to have to go the rest of the day without my camera. That's very, very annoying. I don't know what happened to my camera. Apologies, guys. If I have footage, I don't want footage of basically people getting murdered on the Discord server, because if I do, it puts my server at risk. I have seen Discord servers much larger than mine get shut down for far less than that, basically. So if people wonder, I had somebody on there, I'm not going to name names, basically complaining about me taking it away. Like, in all seriousness, basically saying that the footage is being suppressed by the Indonesian media. Well, my response is basically, you know, there's loads of outlets, there's loads of journalists, there's loads of media organizations that you can literally send the email them to, and they can air the footage on your behalf. And even on X, you can air the footage, because X, doesn't suppress that kind of information as well. So I'm not, the only main reason, it's not because I don't care about what's happening in Indonesia. It's because I'm trying to protect my Discord's community that I've spent hundreds of hours I've put into, as well as putting my own money into the Discord server. So if you have an issue with that, tough, you know, I'm sorry, but I really have to prioritize it. So yeah, it looks like I'm going to be going like this, guys, for the rest of the show. Do apologize. Yeah, this is the second time my camera's gone down, guys. I do apologize. So let me read into it. Don't want to keep going. Some Indonesian students and civil society groups have cancelled protests in Jakarta after authorities ramped up security in the country's capital following a week of deadly protest over lawmakers' pay. An umbrella group that represents students cited impossible conditions for their decision to call off Monday's protest, while the Alliance of Indonesian Women said it was to avoid any crackdowns by the authorities. The protest began a week ago and has spread nationwide, escalating in size and intensity after a police vehicle hit and killed a motorcyclist taxi driver on Thursday night. This is the footage that was sent to me. And I've already said to the person who uploaded the footage to send it to, like, Barline Times or even Al Jazeera, because Al Jazeera has a full story on this as well. 8 people have died in the protest, coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs has said on Monday as well. The rallies have forced the president to make a U-turn over the measures, and he said on Sunday that political parties have agreed to cut lawmakers' benefits, but also ordered the military and police to act against rioters and looters after homes and political party members and state buildings were ransacked or set ablaze. Yeah, so they're being really, really brutal, the police and the military on the protesters. It's really, really getting out of hand now. This really should be talked about more. It's not just Al Jazeera. Other media outlets should be talking about this more, because this is a massive crisis that's taking place in the country here. We're talking about a massive, massive crisis here. Yes, there are other things going on in the world, but the fact that I don't see this story in many other places is quite concerning as well. So, very, very troubled times indeed for Indonesia. I really do hope they find a way out of this. Houthis fired missile at Israel-owned tanker after the Prime Minister was killed. Yeah, apparently the Prime Minister of Yemen was killed. A missile attack comes amid Houthis' pledge to target Israeli-linked shipping over its ongoing war in Israel. Yemen's Houthi movements has claimed responsibility for a missile attack on a tanker in the Red Sea, days after Israel airstrike killed its Prime Minister and several senior officials. The group on Monday said it directly hit the Liberian flagged Scarlet Ray, which is Israeli-owned according to maritime security company Arbore. Yeah, any Israeli-owned or seen to be going towards any kind of support towards Israel in the Red Sea, the Houthis will always try to target it. The UK Maritime Trade Operation Agency, which monitors shipping in the region, disputed the claims that reporting the missiles missed its target on Sunday. The crew witnessed a splash in close proximity to their vessels from an unknown projectile. Heard a loud bang, the UK MTO has said, adding that all staff were unharmed and the tanker had resumed its voyage. The attack is the latest in a string of Houthi operations in the Red Sea. The group sank 2 tankers in July and pledged to continue targeting Israeli-linked shipping as part of its dedicated support for Palestinians and opposition to Israel's genocide in Gaza. On Saturday, the Houthis announced that the Prime Minister, Ahmed Ghalib al-Rari, and other top officials have been assassinated in Israeli strikes on Thursday. Funeral for the Prime Minister and other slain officials is scheduled today. Houthi leaders hailed them as martyrs of all Yemen, accused Israel of savagery against civilians. Quote, the crimes of targeting ministers and civilian officials is adding to the criminal record of Israel's enemies in the region, he said. Tensions escalated further on Sunday when Houthi fighters raided United Nations offices and detained at least 11 staff members, accusing them of espionage. Yeah, targeting United Nations officers and staff members, that's just going way too far there. Yeah, remember these are not good guys. Yeah, these are not good guys. These are terrible people. Lots of Yemeni people are really starving as a result of it. The civil war that's been going on in Yemen for quite some time has been quite horrific, to say the least. Not as bad as Sudan or what's happening in Gaza, but still, it's been a very rough time there. Yeah, so protesters, mainly Houthi supporters, they were out demonstrating on the 29th there. I mean, still quite a huge crowd there. Just a reminder, we only go to, before I go to the next article, guys, because I'm going to have to just switch it like this. Yeah, that there. Yeah, my camera's gone, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering. Can I switch? Yeah, I'll do that. Just a reminder, guys, we only go till 12 o'clock. And if you guys want to financially support me in the work that I do here, you can leave super chats or gifted memberships down below. I really greatly appreciate your support, guys. And I do appreciate everyone being here as well. Popper comes from this Labour government. Believe it when I see it, says Benjamin. Yep. It's been working all weekend, saves Mishk. Yeah, it's all right, Alistair, where everyone's all got to do their bits. Hope you're doing well and everybody else here. Right, let's have a look at what the Times is saying here. So, the Starmer reshuffle, Downing Street advises as PM returns to Parliament. Leaving the ECHR won't affect Good Friday Agreement, says Labour ex-minister. Well, you're a dumbass, because it will. It's gonna affect the Good Friday Agreement. It's going to affect it one way or another. They're saying, oh, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be totally all fine and rosy. Nothing's going to happen, guys. Rayner faces questions over alleged inheritance tax dodge. Look, I don't know. I don't know if there has been tax dodging from Angela Rayner, but one thing I do know, guys, is that she's always targeted because she's working class. She's always targeted by people on the right all the freaking time. She's always like the easy target, and any kind of target they can make on her, they'll do it. And also, it's not just that she's working class; it's because she's a woman as well. So they're always after her. So I'm like, there's a part of me is like, it's probably, I don't know how true it is, but like they're always going after Angela Rayner. It's like Meghan Markle all over again. Deputy PM stand in Ashton under Lars after Ho's house buy. What is Starmer's in trade as Parliament returns? Reform UK woos big business before party conference. Rayner's partner firm secures meeting with housing ministers. Voters don't want Reeves to raise taxes or keep her job. Well, I just like what are we supposed to do? Like, I just feel like they're going to raise taxes one way or another. The only other option is to borrow, which she doesn't want to break her physical rules. So I don't see that happening. So something's got to give, unfortunately, in there. The migration backlash was a long time coming. No, it's just stirred up. It's just been stirred up. There. MPs failed to disclose billionaire backing for campaign groups he chairs. Labour's Dan Kelton did not reveal an offshore firm belonging to the Ribian brothers that helped finance a lobbying effort to shield horse racing from tax rises. I can't open any links, guys, just for reference. Farage to raise Lucy Connery's case with Trump allies in the US. What? The Reform UK leader will discuss the mother's jailing over Southport tweet and warned that the UK is sidelining on free speech. What? Why? So he's going to America and he's going to do speeching and he's going to talk about this case. It's got nothing to do with America. Oh, Christ. Alison, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships to Furbar Bow, Dougie LUFC, Nature's Admirer, George de Graaf, and Podge Gresham. I hope I said all the names right. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, my friend. I appreciate it. They don't go after their own privately educated class action. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's from the Times there, guys. No, I'm just gonna go to my frozen face here, where I look very, very deeply concerned about something. I don't know what. Here, but it does look a little bit funny. Funny. This is the New York Times. Donald Trump is not dead. If anyone's wondering, there was video footage of Donald Trump at a golf course. So, sorry about that for those who wanted that to happen, unfortunately. Judge halts efforts to deport Guantanamo children as plane sits on the tarmac. Temporary block ends another last-minute flurry of legal actions over the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. Family members are waiting. Can you start from the beginning? What's this? So, plane carrying Guantanamo children set to be deported never took off from Texas on Sunday. So it's about to, and then they disembarked after federal judge temporarily blocked the Trump administration to remove dozens of unaccompanied minors. Children! We're talking about children! Lawyers for the children said they would face peril if they returned to Guatemala. So said to be working with the US and expected to reunite 600 minors with families. Right. Family members waited for the reception center in Guantanamo City for the arrival of loved ones who have already been deported. Cabello Lopez is waiting for his young nephew. We hope the lawyer could fight the case there, but unfortunately it wasn't possible. And you see how fate works. And I can't pause this video either, which is also annoying. Robert Mueller has Parkinson's disease, his family says. Lawmakers withdrew a request for the former FBI director to testify this week about the agency's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Already pardoned by Trump, January 6 rioters push for compensation. Yeah, so the people who caused absolute chaos and whatnot are already calling for. They want those who caused the January 6th riot. They want compensation. They want US taxpayers to pay them back, pay them money, guys. Historians see autocrat playbook in Trump's attacks on science. Putin and Xi share a vision of alternative world that challenges the dominance of the United States there. India was the economic alternative to China. Trump ended that. A lurch in policy has shaken the US-India economic alliance against China, leaving India little choice but to consider reversing its own strategy. She uses summit parade in history to flaunt China's global pull. And there's Xi Jinping greeting them as well there in the round there. Brad Pitt says $12 million for a house in the Hollywood, pays $12 million for a house in the Hollywood Hills. Is that really a story? It's more celebrity gossip. 600 dead in the earthquake, which we looked at already, unfortunately. What else they got? They don't like Mandabi. Do better. Well, Mandabi is the guy to I really hope he wins that New York mayoral race. Giuliani is hurt in car crash in New Hampshire. Yeah, I spoke about that briefly. The unchecked, unbalanced reign of King Donald. Ukraine has a new theory of the war. I can't open any of these stories because they're all behind paywalls, just for reference, guys. A plan to climb more than 60 mountains in 1 month. Killigan John intends to summit the tallest peaks in the contiguous US, connected each by bike or by foot. 60 mountains in 1 month. My God. Blimmin' heck. Oh, I wish them well. I really do. My God, that's going to be challenging. US suspends visas for Palestinian passport holders. Officials say the move will stop at least temporarily travel for medical treatment, attending universities, visiting relatives, or conducting business. Houthis vow revenge after Israeli attack kills senior official. Israel's assassination of top official last week, including the militia's prime minister, was likely to make the Houthis even more hawkish, analysts say. Israel says it killed the spokesperson for Hamas's armed ring. Novak Djokovic, sports, not interested. Trump shrank staffing of national parks. See how many are struggling. Well, yeah, less staff. That's not good. Amid decubs, more than 90 parks have reported problems like lost revenue and cuts to emergency service. One expert calls this a dangerous path. Yeah, because they need to enrich their rich friends, obviously. And everybody else suffers as a result. This is what they voted for, sadly. In the hills of Puerto Rico, festering on a very smelly fruit. I'm not a fan of smelly fruits. California's potent legal weed is booming in Britain, less legally. High-strength California-grown marijuana is so popular in the UK that large quantities are being illegally smuggled on passenger flights, officials say, apparently. Football. Doctors in South Korea returned to work after 18-month workout. Oh, it's finally ended. Thousands of residents, interns were protesting the government proposal that would dramatically increase the number of medical students in the country. So it looks like they've sorted that out, possibly. Shame I can't open it. Northern Lights could put on a show for large sections of the US. Apparently, very, very cool. Any interesting other stories? Boy shot during that Ding Dong Dash prank. Yeah, we saw that already, sadly. Man found dead at Burning Man, prompting homicide investigation. Oh my God. And the rest of their stories are just sports stories there. So that is the New York Times. Just got about 10 minutes left, guys. Just a quick reminder, I'll be going live tonight at... Yes, I know, it's a very weird face of me. Yes, sue me. No, don't sue me for it. Just a reminder, I will be going live tonight at 8 p.m. for Regan's Viewpoints, focusing mainly on UK stories. So if you guys want to join me for that, please feel free to do so. Also, just a reminder as well, I will be dropping Rumble and Patreon content from Monday to Friday this week. Content will be dropping at 12 o'clock on both Rumble and Patreon today. If you guys want to check them out, I'll be recording the rest of the week today on them as well. There will be 3 live streams on Wednesday and another 2 tomorrow as well. Wednesday's live streams I will explain tomorrow, just for reference there, just in case you guys know. On there, Class Action says, is it rumored that the Tangerine Mussolini has had a TIA stroke? I don't know. It's possible. It's very, very possible. I honestly don't know. It's possible. There were lots of speculation that something definitely happened to him. I think there was definitely a health scare of some sorts, I think. Let's have a look at the Kiev Independent while we got 9 minutes left. Excuse me. Stomach's playing up a little bit. A key Chinese bank reportedly halts Russia's payments after EU sanctions. Putin meets Maldi and Xi at China SDO summit and blames NATO enlargement for Russia-Ukraine war, even though he's the one that blooming started the war. Ukraine detains suspect in shooting of ex-parliament speaker, reports a Russian trance there, apparently. A man has been detained after ramming car into Russian consulate in Sydney. What was he expecting to do by achieving that? A man was arrested on the 1st today after crashing a car into the grounds of the Russian consulate in Sydney, Australia. The Australian police said their diplomatic protection unit responded to an emergency call. After an unauthorized vehicle was found in the driveway, law enforcement officers arrived at the scene, tried to speak to the driver before he drove his car into the Constable Gates, the police said. Australian media published footage of the white SUV with open doors and smashed windows abandoned after the grounds. 39-year-old man was arrested at the scene, being interrogated. According to Sky News, a 24-year-old police officer was treated after suffering a hand injury. No other injuries were reported. Does it say why? Doesn't say why. Okay, so we don't know why. That's a shame. Ukraine says it's destroyed 2 Russian Mi-8 helicopters, hit tugboats and occupied Crimea. It shares footage apparently. No, we're not going to click on the footage. Hungary continues to veto Ukraine's ascension on the EU negotiations. Civilian ships damaged after hitting unidentified explosive device in the Black Sea near Ossia. Yeah, because they do have some underwater mines in the Black Sea that have been deployed by Russia. You have to watch out for them. 4 have been killed, 27 injured across Ukraine over the past day. So you now have a number of these that come out every day, these kind of numbers. At least 4 civilians were killed and 27 were injured in Russian strikes across Ukraine over the past 24 hours. Regional authorities have reported today. Ukraine's Air Force said Russian forces launched 86 Shalar-type attack and decoy drones overnight, with air defenses intercepting 76. 10 other drones hit 6 locations, the military branch has said. In the Donetsk blast, 2 people were killed and 8 were injured there. Russian strikes in Kharkiv blast killed 1 person and 3 more injured there. 1 civilian was killed and 13 others injured in Kursk blast. 2 civilians were injured and Russian forces targeted more than 150 settlements in 49 authorities in Sumy Oblast. Zaporizhzhia Oblast, a 66-year-old woman was injured as Russian military launched 591 strikes on 20 settlements, the government said there. Latest strikes as Moscow continues to reject calls for unconditional ceasefire, intensifying drone and missile attacks against Ukrainian civilian infrastructure there. That's brutal. General Staff report, I've already going to be covering that in a show. Drone debris sparks fire at Russian power substation, officials have said. EU is drafting precise plans for troop deployments to Ukraine with US backing, von der Leyen has said. 75% of Ukrainians are ready for a ceasefire only if security guarantees are provided. So people are behind the ceasefire. Only if strong guarantees are provided. Found the majority of Ukrainians polled want peace and are open to certain concessions, but only on the condition that their country receives international security guarantees. Respondents identified 3 main security guarantees: continued funding of weapons supplies from partners, 52%; a commitment from allies to intervene militarily in the event of a repeated Russian attack, 48%; and international patrolling of Ukraine's air and sea space, 44%. When asked about Ukraine's immediate priorities, 58% said securing conditional international funding and weapons supplies for the military was most important. By comparison, only 31% said that restoring Ukraine's occupied territory should be the top priority. Moreover, 82% of respondents consider negotiations to be realistic to end the war, with 62% in favour of involving other countries in the peace talks and 20% in favour of direct negotiations with Russia. The poll was based on randomised samples of 1,600 correspondents. A survey via computer-assisted telephone interviews people living in temporarily occupied Crimea and Donbass, as well as areas without Ukrainian mobile service during the survey period, were not included. While Ukrainians expressed a willingness to pursue peace, both in opinion polls and throughout engagements and talks, the Kremlin has not demonstrated any interest in negotiating settlements in the war. Instead, Moscow's top generals promised to continue fighting, and Russian forces persist in striking civilian targets, sadly. Indeed. Very frustrating indeed, as is my frozen camera. Yes, my frozen camera, where I'm looking very, very concerned about something, which I have no idea what it is, but apparently I am. Why do I keep doing that? Hold on. Look, go away, you. Yeah, if you can, please hit the like button. Be greatly appreciated, guys. Any of that stuff is greatly appreciated. Thanks for that reminder, Alison. More than 800 dead after earthquake hits Afghanistan, officials say. This is from the iPaper. We've got about 4 minutes left. I do have some others ready to open up if need be. Reform are better able to fix the cost of living than Labour, most voters say. If only they knew. Labour have done F all except lie in the pocket of the super rich. What? That's a bit. I wouldn't go as far as like. Have Labour have done some things, okay? To say they've done F all is extreme, and to claim that that they've been enriched in the pocket of super rich, I think that's a tad bit. We're not talking about the Conservatives here. Well, I'm not interested in it anyway, in his views anyway. I'm doing my 10,000 steps a day. I'm fitter and happier. Yeah, I need to get back to doing 10,000 steps a day. Digital tokens, AI power cities and evictions. Trump's plan for Gaza. Let's have a look at. Can we have a look at UK, please? Specific. What they got here? Scammer steals identity of real Gaza doctors to trick people out of online donations. Yeah, if anyone online claiming they're from Gaza or whatnot and asking for money, yeah, don't give them money. Do it through official channels. I said that before, and I'll say it again. There's people claiming to be either part of organisations or claiming to be from Gaza or whatnot. Yeah, you got to be careful of those scammers. Russian anti-Putin protester found dead in London after asylum bid was rejected. Clashes break out at London March for Israeli hostages in the second day of unrest. 8 ways to stop small boat crisis according to experts. There's only one way, and we know what it is. I can't live with my wife because of visa rules. I feel like I'm being punished. How Tommy Robinson makes his money? Yeah, I'm not interested in that. Home Office spent 50 million on the Science Centre. Not a single migrant stayed there. We heard about that story already. Let's just see if any other stories here we haven't seen. Aurora. Fact check. Tice has claimed there are 1 million undocumented workers in the UK. Yeah, that's not true. He's just throwing numbers out there. I was a asylum seeker here in a hotel. Here's how I lived on £9 a week. £9 a week. God almighty. That's terrible. Absolutely horrible, guys. I don't know how anyone can live like that. Absolutely terrible. Let's just have a quick look at one more before we head out. NBC News. The spring to election day begins in Virginia and New Jersey governor races. Afghanistan again. EU plans GPS system was jammed. Russian interference suspects. College athletes will be paid by school this season, but their future is messier than ever. Kristi Noem confirms plans to expand ICE operations in major cities. That's not good. Chicago mayor oars with blueprint for fighting the potential Trump crackdown. I've got that in a short story that's coming out. Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, Scholarship Association says. Trump takes aims as Smithsonian's Meet the Women racing to visit every exhibit. Wisconsin boater stumbles on long-term shipwreck in Lake Michigan there. Scientists could soon lose a keen tour studying Antarctica's melting ice sheets as climate risk grows. Judge temporarily blocks administration from deporting Guatemalan children. Yeah, melting ice sheet. We saw that already. Just have a quick look at one of two others here. Wisconsin boat stumbles on long-lost shipwreck from Lake Michigan. Young survivors of Minnesota shooting lean on faith and friends as they navigate healing. Yeah, it's going to be they're scarred for life. It's really, really sad, that is. Really, really scarred. I really do feel for them. Months of deadly Texas floods. A congressman is still looking for answers. And that's about it, guys. So I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to leave you with my stilled face looking very, very weirdly concerned there. Guys, just a reminder, I'll be going live again tonight at 8 p.m. I want to say thank you guys for all coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you, Alison Kier, for the gifted memberships to help start off the month. That is greatly appreciated, guys. Obviously, no super chats today, but hopefully this live stream, but maybe later on today. If you guys can financially support me, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you can't, just hit the like. One of the best ways you can help me in a non-financial ways, hitting the like button, sharing across social media, subscribing, leaving comments on videos, watching my videos a bit longer if you can. All that stuff is the best way you can support me in a non-financial manner. So if you can do any of those, it is greatly appreciated, guys. So yeah, I've got a lot more content to record for you guys for the week ahead. There's plenty of stuff coming along, and also a reminder there'll be a roundtable coming up later this month as well. At the moment, I've got Lee Korn on there at the moment, but I'm looking to get one or two other people on hopefully, and I'll have announce them as soon as possible. But enjoy the rest of your Mondays, whatever you're doing. Just a reminder, the 2 days will be going live later on today at 4 p.m. So do join them, the 2 days, if you can. But thank you all so much for watching. But before you go, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And thank you all so much for watching. And I hope to catch you all very, very soon.